You're now listening to
Clear the Mechanism.
The Robbie Rose Show. The Robbie Rose Show.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Robbie Rowland here on another episode of the Robbie Rowe Show. So today is going to be completely different than what you guys... what you guys are probably used to. I'm going to try to incorporate this maybe like once every 2 weeks or once a week. I'm not sure. It's kind of a lot of work. So I'm not sure on how much I'm actually going to do it. But I want to do it because typically the questions that I get, man, like I get them a lot, and I want to be able to answer questions that everyone has. And really benefit, everyone that asks those. So, I really haven't gotten one question in my email that has been like, are you kidding me? Like, that's stupid. So I really do encourage guys. I know I get a lot of DMs on Instagram, but I always say, like, email me because I'll literally personalize a message in an audio format to you. It's about 2-minute audio clip. You guys will hear today in this podcast, actually. And so, yeah, that's what today's going to be. It's going to be a little Q&A. I have 6 questions lined up. This is just from the last week. So for those of you guys who are listening that has questions for me, shoot me an email, contact robbierowe@gmail.com. And like I said, I'll shoot you back an audio message in hopes to better equip you, in your development or whatever it may be. So no particular order on these. I literally just picked like 6 random ones out of I don't know how many. But what I'm going to do is I just have the audio from the answer that I gave the individual. I won't name names. I'll before I put the audio in, I'll ask the question, and then I'll throw the audio of how I answered it. And you'll hear some stuff like within the clip about like I'll send you a link or I'll do this and that. Obviously, it's a personalized message, so I'm not going to send every single podcast listener the link. I'm not recording the answers right now. These are from this past week, so just to be crystal clear. So yeah, I'm excited to do this. Honestly, it's kind of cool. It's cool, a whole different format than what I'm used to. So let me know if you guys like it and if I should keep doing it. But if I don't get any good feedback on it, I'll probably just bang it anyways. But yeah. So that's all I got. And if you want to check out, like I say in a couple of these messages, is like my website. Like I have a lot of blog posts about specific subjects on that. All of that can be found at therobbieroweshow.com. I just kind of reformatted my whole entire website to where it's way more user-friendly. And, the whole content library is very easy now, very accessible in the sense of you literally go to the homepage and you see content library in the top right corner. And then that has all of my training, all of my throwing, all of my pitching drills, all of my routines, like everything that I get asked probably the most is right there. So be sure to go head over to therobbieroweshow.com and check that out. So let's get to it. So the first question I'm going to throw up here, like I said, I won't mention names. I'll just ask the question on here, and then I'll throw the audio clip in, and then so on and so forth. Like I said, 6 questions. Let's get to it. First one, do you think it's more of a challenge for guys with higher arm slots to get more dramatic arm side run on their 2-seam / change-up / sinkers? I used to think it was more of a challenge. When I first got signed, I was an over-the-top guy, and I actually had a flat fastball is what I perceived it as. But who knows, right? With data analytics the way they are now, that could have been a high-spinning fastball that would have played. I actually ended up switching to a more of a drop-down, more like a low 3/4 arm slot because I wanted movement on my fastball because I was kind of always under the impression that you needed to create a different axis on the ball. Now I'm like kind of in a different frame of mind because the best 2-seamers that I've thrown have been, in the recent years, like past 2 years, and I've kind of had a high 3/4 slot. And the biggest thing that I always tell guys when trying to, find a slot or something that allows them to move the ball is daily tinkering, and I know there's such a fine line with that, because you don't want to put too much emphasis in that with, other things that probably have more of a high importance with like velocity or command. But play around with the wrist placement at ball release, play around with the finger pressures, play around with the seams that you're feeling when you throw the ball. There's so many things that can go into it, when you are trying to move the ball. And everyone's going to be different in the fact that, something that one guy thinks about how they throw a two-seam is going to be totally different for maybe how you would come up with it. So, tinker around, play around with it, dude, and then come up with ways that you can kind of better feel. I've done a post on my two-seam fastball, and the thing that I always say is, like, I like to feel kind of like not so much an early pronation. It's hard to kind of say on just audio, but if I had a video in front of me, it'd make more sense. That I want to feel that I'm kind of coming through the throwing zone with my thumb, almost facing the hitter. Like I said, if you wanted to think, I guess, early pronation, maybe that makes sense. But kind of just a personal cue that helps me. So I'd encourage you to develop your own, man. So hopefully that makes sense. But to answer your question simply, I don't believe it is too much to do with the arm slot, more so than the wrist placement. So hopefully that helps, brother. Best of luck to you. Okay, so this next question is, recently got a tear in my labrum in the front, and also 2 years ago I had another tear in the back. Even after the first tear, I felt great, but it seems it's come up again with some more issues. The doctor recommends a cleanup surgery, but another doctor recommends that I don't do the surgery because of loss in range of motion. I have until Friday to decide. That's irrelevant now because I think that's past. What I want to do. I could also just do a straight up physical therapy and rehab. What do you think is the best choice? Now, I want to make sure that I highlight for those of you guys who are saying, oh, I got to ask Robbie an injury question. I tend to stay away from, I think I actually include that little tidbit in the answer, but I definitely try to stay away from any injury related questions. I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not a certified physician or anything, but yeah, so here's my answer. Hey man, when it comes to injury questions, I really do try to avoid them, just because I'm not a licensed therapist, man. I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm just a dude that throws a ball. But this is definitely one of those things, dude, where it's going to come down to you making that executive decision, right? And obviously it's good to seek wise counsel in regards to that. But you're going to know your arm best. You're going to know your mental state the best. So it's going to be on you, man. Obviously other people can encourage one way or the other, but it's really going to come down to what you think is best. And then also looking at your long-term goals, right? Like, what are your long-term goals for this game? Put yourself in a frame of mind in, say you do each one of them. Right, so where are you going to be at if you proceed with this little cleanup surgery? What's the setback date? Where's that going to put you at? And then, put yourself in a frame of mind of if you don't get it. Like, try to play each scenario out and figure out what the best scenario is for you in your long-term goals, whatever those are. Hopefully that makes sense, man. I'm sorry to hear that that's happened. Injuries suck. Trust me, I know from experience. And, I hope that what I said makes sense and, it works out best for you, brother. Okay, so question number 3, how do I persuade myself to get in the gym and get to work? I have had phases that I will start and then I just quit working. Hey, man, so yeah, this is something that I think as human beings, dude, we face, right? Like, I know me personally, my personality is somewhat similar to where if I do the same thing, for a lot of days in a row, the monotonous kind of sets in and I need a change, right? And I need to kind of have that spark. So I think the biggest thing that helps me, dude, is really look at your goals. If you need a goal board, I have a whiteboard in my room that has all of my goals on it. And, just to be able to look at that each and every day and know that, okay, if I want to, achieve these goals and I want to attain all of these different types of goals, then there's certain protocols that I got to do, and I got to hold myself accountable to do, right? Like, obviously, not all of us are going to want to put in all of the work, but that's what separates the goods from the greats, right? I think Muhammad Ali said he hated every single second of training, but he loved every single second of being a champion. So, yeah, man. I mean, there's no absolute answer. That's something that you got to find within yourself. So hopefully this makes sense. All right, question number 4. We're looking at this summer I went through a program called Top Velocity. Not sure if you've heard of it, but that's besides the point. I saw serious gains, got my fastball up to 92, almost no arm pain. Just transferred schools. The new coach is a big driveline guy. I have never worked with plyo balls before, and I actually usually go to your page for tips and stuff, but I haven't seen too much about plyo balls on your page. What is your take on plyo balls or even weighted balls in general? I don't want to start throwing these weighted balls and get hurt or something, especially after all these gains. Now, just to make sure that I hit on this before, I don't remember exactly what I say in my answer, but I do have posts on plyo balls. Like I said, on my website, under my content library, I have a lot of routine type posts that you guys can go check out. So this is what I said. The biggest thing, I think you might need to sit down and talk with your coach and just kind of come to a civil agreement as far as like you've had gains and you don't really want to mess that up. At the same time, he's probably going to come back with, you haven't tried weighted balls, you haven't done this and that, so give it a shot. And personally, if you wanted my advice, I've used plyo balls. I still do. I do have a routine out there on my website. I'll include the link in it, and I'm going to add to this page as well here probably within the next few days, because I just shot some content on plyo care, weighted ball stuff. But for me personally, big fan, dude. I think if used properly, they can be a fantastic tool. But at the end of the day, it's your career, it's your arm, it's your development. And if you need to sit down and talk to your coach and just let them know like where you're at with everything, and literally say the exact same thing you told me, it wouldn't be a bad idea anyway. So hope that helps, man. Like I said, I'll include the link and you can see a little bit of my weighted ball routine. And if not, I can send you the link to purchase my warm-up ebook that has all of my weighted ball stuff in it. So yeah, whatever you want to do, man. Best of luck. Okay, question 5. I got very sick about a year ago, which caused me to miss my entire junior year of college. I'm now finally healthy enough to play, lift, etc. What's a good timeline for getting back into throwing, long tossing, max effort, and weighted balls? And is there anything I should be doing? I have fall ball in 2 weeks. If you can answer it, it would be greatly appreciated. Hey man, thanks for reaching out. That's going to be one of those things where it's individual dependent. Obviously, when you come with like injuries, it's always important to make sure that you don't lose too much strength, because that's the one thing that can compensate, right? As you get sick, you lose a bunch of weight, and then you try to return to the same volume that you were at before, and your body's not really capable of doing that. So just make sure that maybe you get your weight back on first, get your strength back up, and then you can get into it. But it's going to be about you feeling for, how does your throwing feel? How does your arm feel? What does your long toss feel like? And just creating those new capacities after you've been sick for a while. But hopefully that makes sense, man. Best of luck to you moving forward. Okay, 6th and final question of the first Q&A podcast. So this is, let's see, where is it? Oh, 6, sorry. I top it at 90 from the mound. I'm new to Pulldowns, and the first time I did them, my 5 ounce, which is a regular baseball, was 84, but my 3 ounce was 96.6. Any reason for this? I see these people throwing up ridiculous numbers on Pulldowns, yet mine are horrible. Hey man, so yeah, this is one of those things, dude, where I think it's really just gonna be about you not having done these before. You said that you're new to them, and the first time you did them, your 5 ounce was 84 and your 3 ounce was 96.6. So yeah, maybe there could be a reason for it, but I honestly wouldn't put too much stock into it right now this early, especially since it was the first time doing it. Typically with guys that are new to Pulldowns, it's really a whole different dynamic, right? Like guys are so used to pitching instead of like really being athletic and throwing with max intent. So I think that has more to do than the actual, mechanics of the throws. So I'd say check back in. You can shoot me another email, say like a month or two down the road when you've been doing them pretty consistently, and if it continues to happen like this, then might have to look into some other things. But my thing with pull downs, man, is there's so much intent involved that it could be different. So, yeah, man, hope that makes sense. Hope it helps. Okay, guys, that's it. Like I said, 6 questions. I didn't want to keep it, I didn't want to make it too long. So hopefully, 15, 17 minutes is pretty good for you guys to get something out of that. Let me know. Let me know if you liked it. Shoot me a message on Instagram. Email me. I gave you my email address earlier. And let me know if you like it. Like I said, depending on the feedback, I'll keep doing it, or I might not ever do it again. So, I'm trying to tell multiple people that the more that I kind of up my on-ramping for my throwing and I get more serious with my comeback, and I'm starting to, explore the avenues of getting back into affiliated ball or professional baseball or winter ball or whatever the case may be, like my time's going to be very limited on, certain content that I can produce. So being able to do like a Q&A like this, to where I already have the questions answered in audio format, and for just to be able to throw it on a podcast and produce it is a little bit easier than, scheduling a podcast and having someone come on the show and recording the conversation and then breaking it up and editing that. So, if you can get something out of this, let me know. And if you don't, I'll probably just bang it. So much love, guys. As always, I appreciate the support and appreciate you guys listening. And I appreciate everyone who's seeking out that quality information to improve their game or improve their life. Much love, guys. Until next time, I'm out.
Bye.